Okay, so there's a little bit of an interruption, but I started the show again. My apologies. I'm starting the timer. If you can join the show again, please write a new question in the chat or in the comments. So sorry about that. Oh. Okay, PK, you're on the show.
Oh.
Okay. So, yeah, it's kind of a disaster, but hey, you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going, right?
Yes.
PK?
Hello?
Yeah. You okay?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Oh,
But there's an echo.
because,
I don't know if your earphones are working.
I don't know if your earphones are working. I see. Please. How about?
Well, it's okay. Man. I just hear my own voice, I guess. But it's okay. All right. But now I think it's better.
I see. I just downloaded a whole new browser to fix the issue.
Okay. Sounds busy. Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes. Yeah, I see you. It's good. Very nice. Zayar Mint says, welcome, PK. All right. If you have a question for PK and me, please write the question in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに新しい質問を書いてください。So, okay. Zayar Mint says, what time do you study? PK.
For me, I usually study at night if I'm relaxed. But when the exam's near, I usually study all day.
All day. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But it's okay. It's okay. We just thank you. I'm so sorry everyone for the we had some technical difficulties, and so I think we might have lost some people. But if you made it back, way to go. That's great. And we're just we're about to finish the section 1, and then we got. It looks like people are coming back to the show. Oh, thank you very much for coming back. Yeah, anyways, let's just wait. We got about 10 seconds before this section ends. All right, so let's move on to the second question of tonight's show, which is, are there any activities you can do that make it easier to study? 日本語で勉強を楽にするためにできる活動はありますか? So what do you think, PK? Are there any activities you can do that make it easier to study?
Well, sometimes I just don't want to study. The thing about studying is starting, and usually I procrastinate. And how I overcome is that I put on some music to make study more exciting, enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
And studying can be tiring at times. So the thing I read is that chewing gum kind of helps because you are like working out your muscles so your brain stays awake. So these are the simple activities you can try out
Wow,
when studying.
Yeah, those sound like two great activities. Well, let's ask the viewers. Are there any activities you can do that make it easier to study? Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. 勉強を楽にするためにできる活動はありますか？チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください。You have 4 minutes. All right. I love listening to music too.
What kind of music?
Well, it's kind of a mix of there's some like I kind of would call it just regular like pop music. But I
Pop
like
music.
yes,
The
some
classics.
some slow music first, and then some faster music. But usually I don't use it to study. I use it to get up and like start doing stuff around my home.
I see.
Yes.
For me, I put on some classical or relaxing music to help me focus.
Okay, great. Nora says, "Hi, PK. Nice to see you again." Yes, and nice to see you again too, Nora. Right. Yes. All right. So, are there any activities you can do that make it easier to study? Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. 勉強を楽にするためにできる活動はありますか？チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください。All right. Zayar says, before study, I sleep enough time because when I study to avoid want to sleep. Okay, nice. Yeah, getting enough sleep I think is very important as well.
Yes.
You think so too?
Yeah, I think sleeping might be the most important about one getting effective studying.
Yeah.
But students these days don't get enough sleep, I would say, because I am one of the students that don't sleep enough. I think I should sleep more.
Yeah, when I was almost like 20 years ago now when I was in college, but I would I'd get tired, and I always was my activity to make it easier to study was drinking coffee.
One of the cliche activities.
Yes, I would always drink coffee, but I don't think that's healthy. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay, we have some answers here. Nora says, most of the time I like studying when it is the weekend and peaceful and not a noisy place. Maybe like a library. Sounds nice. And Zayar says, how much is your sleeping time, PK?
I would say about 7 to 8 hours every night. And I wish I could sleep more, but the school works assignments just wouldn't allow me to.
Yeah, I always feel like, I think, in my opinion, no matter how much you sleep, if you work hard, you're going to get tired again.
Yes.
It's like even you sleep like 10
So-
hours, but if you study really hard, you're going to get sleepy.
Yes, I've always wanted to know how these outstanding students study without getting any sleep. It's just baffling to me.
Well, in my opinion, if you're tired, take a rest. And then, if you're after taking a rest, you can go back to studying. Okay.
Maybe some people, yes.
Zayar says, thank you for your answer, PK.
You're welcome.
Noda says, I don't know what happened last 20 minutes. PK doesn't come, but it's fine. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you, Noda. Nice, very nice, kind support. Okay. Well, let's move on to this next section. So now, please write a new question in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに新しい質問を書いてください。You have 4 minutes. 4分間あります。Okay. And you can ask a question about studying, the impact of timing on studying, or you could ask us a question about any topic. It's up to you. Let's enjoy using English. All right. Well, have you been busy recently, BK?
Not particularly, but I would say yes, because I think the start of the semester is the best time to cram, because when you study near the exam, you are panicking, so you wouldn't get in you didn't take in a lot of information as much as you want to. So yeah, I'm relatively busy.
I see. It's an interesting strategy. Study really hard at the beginning, and then hopefully you won't need to study as much at the end.
Yes.
Cool.
At the end, I could still take it easy,
Very, very interesting, and yeah, I think for me, it's the first time to hear that kind of strategy. So, cool. Nora says, PK studies a lot. PK, and you are so smart. I know PK studies a lot because I am his younger sister. Cool. That's great. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Zayar says, do you have pressure when you study for your lessons?
Yeah, usually, yes. I do that kind of thing. So I can refresh myself and such,
Yeah. Her question is, do you have pressure? Pressure, my image is pressure is kind of like a stress, kind of like, oh, I have to study this much tonight, or I have to study this much, and then it's kind of like you feel kind of pressure to finish.
No, I don't really have pressure from my family. I just like studying for myself, for my future. So I push myself, but I don't let the pressure get to me.
Yeah.
But there's still a relatively small amount of pressure to get high marks as much as possible.
Let's see. Nora says, I don't like studying math because it gives me a headache. Oh no. And then I always recommend, that's a great sentence, Nora. but then you can add, how about you, at the end of the sentence. So how about you, PK? Do you get a headache when you study math?
Math can be a challenging subject for starters because math can be a very dislikable subject if the instructor don't know what they are doing, because math is a very difficult subject to teach. So I used to hate maths, but now that I'm a computer science student, I cannot hate math because dealing with computers is all about dealing with maths.
I see. Well, at least it's useful, right?
Yes.
Yeah, some people, they study math, but they have like no use for the math. So, yeah, that's good. You have a use for it. Takesh has a question. He says, are there any good ways to keep exercising every day?
For me, as a student, I would just do simple exercises. You can go for a walk for 5 minutes, or in the morning, you can stretch for some amount of time. And before you go to bed, you can still stretch for a moment and maybe do some push-ups or sit-ups. And the small and easy exercises are ideal if you don't have enough time.
Yeah, I think so too. And then with like rest as well. You don't have to study. You don't have to exercise hard every day. And so, most days you might just, do an easy or light exercise. And then if you have lots of energy, you can do some more challenging exercise. So that's good. For me, my strategy is to exercise at the same time or around the same time every day. Right?
It's good to have some habits so you wouldn't break it easily.
Okay, well, great questions and nice comments. Thank you guys for your support. Okay, let's move on to the last question of tonight's show, which is about exercise a little bit. So, it's tough for me to study after exercising. How about you? 日本語で運動した後は勉強がしづらいです。あなたはどうですか? How about you, PK? Is it tough for you to exercise, to study after exercising?
I would say yes. I do not exercise enough, and I wish I could go to gym and work out, build muscles, so I can still healthy while studying. But I just don't have enough discipline to do physical activities. I would rather sit at my desk doing something on my computer.
I see. Well, Aya Miyatida says thank you for sharing, and I'll say thank you for joining the show. Okay, so let's ask the viewers. How about you? Is it tough for you to study after exercising? Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. 運動した後は勉強がしづらいです。あなたはどうですか? チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください. You have 4 minutes. 4分間あります. So, I think, the really interesting thing about timing is that there are 2 types of timing. So one is like the, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock timing. And the other is like activities. So like, doing something after exercising or doing something before school.
I see.
Yes. So Nora says, me too is hot after exercising. It is dizzy for me. I used to go running, and after running, it was like impossible for me to study. I was so tired.
Is it because of tiredness?
Yes, I think so. And so that's kind of.
I can relate.
You can relate?
Yeah. When I came back from a long day at university, I just don't want to study anymore. I just want to relax in my bed,
Yes. Which I think that's and then do you usually relax in your bed in that situation?
Yes. After studying, I have some breaks. In that little times, I would relax and stretch in my bed for some time before getting back to studying.
Yeah, it's so smart. Nora says, I like running, but not backflips because I am not flexible. Interesting. Backflips. Do you like backflips, PK?
I mean, they look cool, but I wouldn't dare to try doing one on my own. Yeah. It can go wrong pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah, I think a good place to practice backflips is at a swimming pool with a diving board.
That's an interesting thought.
Yes. Water can still be a little dangerous, but it's a lot safer than just, the regular ground.
Yes.
And then, that was for me. I was kind of curious about that. Oh, yay! I get all notifications. I tapped the little bell, Nora says. Cool. That's great. Okay, we got Putin. Thank you for joining tonight's show. Putin says, do you have any good study tips to share?
I would say take regular breaks, get enough rest, and what you eat is also important as well, because there's a saying called "you are what you eat," and it is true to some extent. Of course, you are not literally what you eat, but you need good inputs to produce good outputs.
Yes.
That's not some extraordinary activities, just some simple tips to help you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Nora says, what is your favorite subject? You too. I would love to know. Okay, well, before that, let's move on. Okay, we're getting to the last section, which is you can write new questions in the chat or in the comments. So we got some great new questions. Thank you, guys. Okay, so the first one is, what is your favorite subject? Okay, we got 4 minutes.
It's hard to say.
Why is it hard to say?
Because I have a lot of subjects I like. But if I have to pick one, I would go with maths. Because maths, I like doing calculations, and there's math in everywhere in some sense. So I like calculating things, solving problems. So naturally, I'm drawn to maths.
Okay. Well, I love, for me, I would say learning languages was my favorite subject recently. So just, languages, I guess linguistics. But how about you, Nora? She says English. Cool. Because we're speaking English right now. That's great. Okay, Hutin had a question. Hutin says, what do you think is the most interesting thing about learning? That's the question.
The most interesting thing about learning is, it's hard to say, but when you learn something, the interesting thing is that you learn the fact that you haven't learned enough, and you learn the fact that there's so much more to learn, and it is kind of confusing, but there's a lot to learn in this world.
Yeah, and that's
So whenever you learn something new, at first you might think, oh, I got this, but actually you don't, and there's still so much to master more.
Okay. Takesh says, I think exercise during study is a good method. No, exercise during study breaks is a good method. And, kind of killing two birds with one stone. Taking a break, doing some exercise. Might work for some people. Okay, we got another new planet, 365 planet. Yong Hao Fu says, what do you think is the most important thing in learning? Is it a good habit or a learning method? Thank you for joining the show.
The most important thing about learning is, I would say, focus, because if you do not focus, you will not have discipline. And to focus, that is why you need to keep your body and mind as healthy as possible, because without healthy body and mind, you wouldn't be able to concentrate and learn, and you will be distracted very easily.
I think so too. And I know one more thing I would say too is that's important is patience. Yeah, because sometimes I think a lot of times, especially for language learners, like you want to be able to speak a lot very quickly, but it's very challenging to learn so quickly. So
Yes,
you just got to be patient and try to learn a little bit every day.
it takes time to learn new things.
Yes. Okay, so Sonora says, are you going to come back to our place? Next question. I think she's talking to you, PK. Are you going to come back to our place after years?
Yes, of course.
Okay, and we have another new commenter. Ling Ming Zhang says, which book have you learned the most from? And do you like group study or studying alone? Thank you for joining tonight's show. What do you think, PK?
I love studying. I like studying alone, and I do not mind studying in groups. You can ask questions, share ideas, and such. For me, I study alone just because it's quiet most of the time, and I'm free to do whatever I want. So yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we got one more. This will be the last one for tonight. Zia Y says, do you have any good learning methods to share?
Learning method is that taking regular breaks. I do not use particularly special techniques to learn. You have to take regular breaks very often, because in that little times, science says that brain is processing information in these break times. Just like you are working out physically, you have to take breaks. And you are like, when you're studying, you're like exercising your brain instead of muscles. So you have to take breaks.
Yeah, and I think taking a break, that's one of the activities that is great, to make studying easier. Right. Okay, Nora says, everyone like and subscribe and ring the bell to get all notifications. Thank you so much, Nora. Okay, well, that is the end of tonight's show. Thank you so much for studying with PK and me. This show, the Let's Speak podcast, in collaboration with the RSU PAL Center, is every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Japan Standard Time, which is 6:30 p.m. Bangkok time, until November 16th. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe and give the show a big thumbs up. We love studying and talking with our viewers. And we hope you have a great night. And hope to see you next time. Anything you want to say, PK?
Have a great night, everyone.
All right. In Japanese, see you next time. Mata chikai uchi ni aimashou. Till then.